Saudimania is now a reality. The Saudis have managed to secure Wrestlemania. It will happen in 2027. Wrestlemania 43 heads to Saudi, and a lot of people are massively upset about it, including, by the look of things, the people on the WWE roster who were standing behind Triple H and Turki Al-Sheikh when he made this announcement. I don't know what you're upset about. It was inevitable for me that they were going to get that WrestleMania once they got the Royal Rumble, and once we saw WWE starting to change locations, taking it away from New Orleans and putting it in Vegas for the second year in a row. For me, it was inevitable that this company were going to chase that dollar as much as they possibly could, and that would be their priority. And nothing was off the table, even giving Saudi Arabia this WrestleMania. Now, Dave Meltzer was completely wrong about what he reported, saying that there was going to be 2 WrestleManias per year, whilst I clearly told you over at thedirtysheets.com that Saudi Arabia would be getting one, and that WWE were going to upset a number of cities along the way. And let's talk about that, because the goodwill with WWE and several major cities and governors has to be in the toilet right now. What you did to New Orleans, what you've done to Orlando, and what you've done to Indianapolis isn't going to bode well for you in the future when you enter into future negotiations with other cities and governors. Indianapolis basically went on to confirm that they were getting WrestleMania along with a SummerSlam and a Royal Rumble. And I have no doubt that they will get the SummerSlam, and I have no doubt that WrestlePalooza this weekend was some sort of compensation for the fact that Indianapolis is probably now no longer getting a WrestleMania, because WWE is keen to make Vegas the permanent home, or at least the majority home of WrestleMania, unless they get ridiculous offers from elsewhere. In this case, it was Saudi Arabia. The $250 million figure is somewhat accurate, and to break that down, the WWE usually end up getting around about 60 million for a regular show, with 45 million already paid as part of the Saudi deal. The Saudi deal is a $450 million deal up front, with the bonuses paid to the WWE as well. And in addition to that, the Saudis will also cover the budget for any additional talent that WWE want to bring in, or it will work this way where Saudi will ask for specific talent and then WWE will enter into those negotiations at the requests of the Saudis, which is why we've seen the likes of Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels wrestling on these Saudi shows. We are yet to see Stone Cold Steve Austin. It will be interesting to see if we see Austin at this next WrestleMania. And what will be even more interesting than him is The Rock, because I know this sounds like a broken record, but if we do not get Rock and Roman Reigns at this next WrestleMania, or at the one in Saudi rather, then you can forget about it. Because, as I was saying, the $250 million figure is accurate. But within that $250 million, there is an expectation for the WWE to spend up to $50 million of that to secure the highest level of talent that they possibly can, which would include The Rock. The Rock is an absolute priority. Getting The Rock to Saudi Arabia, and most likely to do this match with Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes as a backup, would 100% be the plan now moving forward. So there's no excuses now not to do it. You have $250 million. You're already getting $60 million for a regular Saudi show after your bonuses. You've already received $100 million for the Royal Rumble. This $250 million figure, with $200 million for you to go into your own pocket, and with $50 million expected to be a talent budget, you have absolutely zero excuses now not to make this happen. What's very clear to me from hearing this announcement are 2 things. Number one, the Brock Lesnar return was inevitable, because he was always going to be on this WrestleMania, and he was always going to be appearing at the Saudi Rumble. Turki Al-Sheikh is a big fan of Brock Lesnar, so Brock Lesnar would have been coming back inevitably at some point as part of the Saudi money talking. And he's now going to be coming back this weekend to wrestle at WrestlePalooza. So everything is in place. Brock Lesnar will be at WrestlePalooza. He'll be at the Royal Rumble, and he'll definitely be wrestling at this Saudi Arabia WrestleMania. So that felt absolutely inevitable. I have absolutely no doubt about that. And in addition to that, when you're looking ahead to everything that the Saudis are going to do with the WWE, it was probably all planned all along. They knew they had the Royal Rumble, and they knew they had this WrestleMania in the bag, yet the WWE still entered into negotiations with ESPN for the rest of their PLEs. Now, ESPN are a Disney company, so it's not a surprise to me that WWE crossed the I's and dotted all of the T's before actually making this announcement. I am pretty certain that the WWE did not tell ESPN that they were going to be doing a Saudi Arabia WrestleMania so soon into this deal. And I would feel that ESPN were probably okay with the Royal Rumble and probably understood that WWE were going to not only do the Saudi shows that they were doing and already had signed up to do, but we're going to extend this deal as long as possible. But when you're looking at Crown Jewels, and when you're looking at whatever the Saudi events end up being called, King and Queen of the Ring, whatever they end up being called, when you're looking at these unique one-off Saudi Arabia events, when you're looking at giving them a Royal Rumble, I think ESPN probably would have made peace with that, because it isn't the institution, the Americana institution that WrestleMania is. And it didn't quite require, or it didn't quite lead to the same backlash, and therefore didn't require the transparency for WWE to give to ESPN. But now it's WrestleMania. Now there is genuine outrage across the board. The comments underneath every single social media post for this event are filled with complete hate, are filled with complete negativity. Not one person is sitting there saying, I'm dying to go to Saudi Arabia. For me, I find it hilarious. A, I've been to Saudi Arabia. B, I'll go again to this WrestleMania. C, it's cheaper. D, I still get a holiday. And E, 5, I love the fact that this WrestleMania didn't go to London. For years, these idiots were so sure that WrestleMania was going to go to London. First of all, I don't want it here. WrestleMania is something that you should have to earn. It shouldn't be handed to everybody. And for me, it should always take place in America. So if you're a UK wrestling fan and you want to go to a WrestleMania, well, work harder, man, and get yourself to WrestleMania. Save your money, get a better job, increase your income, sort out your finances, save your money and spend it on less shit and save it towards your WrestleMania fund, and do what you can, make the sacrifices, do the work to get to WrestleMania. You don't deserve a WrestleMania here in what has become an awful third world country. There's nothing good about living in England. There's nothing good anymore about living in London. The place has been absolutely ruined. London in particular, due to the mayor Sadiq Khan. This is not a place I would encourage anyone to visit. I personally can't wait to get out of here. So what I didn't definitely want is to have my holiday taken away by them bringing WrestleMania here, so a bunch of idiots that don't deserve to watch it would get to see it. In addition to that, these morons never ever looked at the financial issues of bringing a WrestleMania here. First of all, it would be massively missing the commercial revenue that the WrestleManias in the USA generate. Obviously, there you have all of the US sponsors that are tied to it. They are all a part of the WrestleMania show. They are all there and in attendance, and it all makes sense for WWE to do WrestleMania out of the USA, to tie up with those sponsors, to tie up with those global partners, to tie up with all the US media outlets that are right there, and they can cover the event and give WrestleMania as much exposure as possible. You can't gamble on all of those people coming over here. In addition to that, why would you take on the additional expense of bringing it to London and having to be here for an entire week and paying all of those hotels and paying all of those rental fees for the hotels and the rentals for the arenas, where you would have to pay, instead of being paid by the state, you would have to pay for the buildings and probably for the stadium as well, because trust me, London and Sadiq Khan won't be putting the money in their pocket. So it was never a go. It was never going to happen. It never will happen. And I'm grateful for it. Please do not bring WrestleMania to London. Take it anywhere but London. And I don't think it is going anywhere. I think it's going to be either between Vegas and Saudi Arabia, or one of these states that will come in with a whole load of money, and it would have to be a boatload of money that not only matches what the state will do, which is Nevada State, because don't forget, it's not only Nevada State that are contributing towards Vegas getting the WrestleManias, they're also getting a shitload of money from Fontainebleau, who are heavily involved with the event, from hosting WWE events to putting wrestlers up in the hotel. Fontainebleau has become a home for TKO, who also used it for UFC and for Crawford Canelo this weekend. So don't discount the money that Fontainebleau are putting in, along with the Nevada states. And for me, that blows away any offers that any of the other states can do. The only ones that could even really compete with that would be the state of California and the state of New York, which puts in trouble your likes of your Indianapolises, your Minnesotas and your Floridas, who have all been screwed up due to this WWE greed. And I would still worry, if I'm the WWE, about your goodwill with these companies. If business drops off, do you then need to go back hat in hand and want to go and do big events at these places again? Do you go back to them when you need to do a WrestleMania there again, when suddenly Vegas don't want every WrestleMania, or the Saudis don't just want WrestleManias? And also, how do your fans feel about it going to the same place over and over again? Is that going to work? Is that going to carry over? I know a lot of people that went to Vegas and just wanted to have that Vegas experience, and they don't necessarily want it again next year. And I feel that WWE are going to realize that once the tickets actually go on sale. So it's a case of gambling with your goodwill, and I personally don't think that it is a great gamble to upset so many states and governors. I also don't think it's a good thing to do to upset TV companies either, which is what WWE also seem to be doing. They've upset Netflix at the moment. The ratings aren't where they're supposed to be. And this comes off the back of Fox being very upset with their relationship with the WWE, when WWE were unable to provide them with the ratings or even the talent that they promised them. There was no Brock Lesnar and there was no Ronda Rousey. They did not end up going into negotiations with CM Punk. Ronda Rousey, who was supposed to be a big player on Fox, never wrestled there once because she'd already left the company, and WWE did not renew with her. So it's been a really bad period for WWE and them dealing with their partners, and when it comes to negotiations, and it comes to goodwill, and it comes to WWE's reputation. Yes, they're printing up money, and yes, they are managing to get new TV deals, like this deal with ESPN. They've renewed with the USA Network for SmackDown. Obviously, NBC, Peacock are going to carry on with Saturday night's main event, although they would have been upset to lose the PLEs. But it's concerning. I'd be concerned because Netflix didn't come in for those PLEs. I would have thought Netflix would have automatically got those PLEs, because Netflix is showing the PLEs in Europe, but they were not at the negotiating table. Had they already learned early into this deal, which is supposed to be 10 years with a 5-year get out, that they no longer want to be in bed with the WWE, much like Fox didn't want to be in bed with the WWE early, but they're involved in a 5-year contract, and it's highly unlikely that Fox will ever come back to the negotiating table again, nor do they have good things to say about their relationship with the WWE in private, whilst everybody's projecting positivity out there. Oh, it's great working with you, it's great working with you. The reality behind closed doors is very different, but it is what it is. At the moment, they are making that money. Ticket prices are expected to stay the same. In fact, WWE have spoken openly about wanting to increase their prices even more to be in line with UFC, as Vince McMahon, the bad guy, horrible Vince McMahon, that evil man, wanted to price up his ticket prices for families. God forbid the family be able to actually fucking afford to be able to watch wrestling. But hey, he's the bad guy apparently, so you guys tell me. So That's where we're at. Saudi Arabia getting WrestleMania. Ticket prices are getting higher. If it's not in Saudi Arabia, Vegas are going to get more. States are pissed off. TV companies are pissed off. But WWE continue to print money for now. But what will happen in the future? So that's it for me and this edition of a wrestling show on a wrestling channel. Until next time, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.